This is an all-terrain system journal. I had a pretty cool awareness experience recently, but also a great physical experience before that. And I'm going to share that with you. Now, this one is, I don't know, kind of difficult to talk about in that people believe that talking about this stuff is woo-woo or like magic. But again, it's something I call practical magic. It's something that if you practice these things can't help but happen. So what's going on with me? I've taken the last week off, so you probably haven't seen any videos. Not stressing about that. Just this is what I'm doing to recuperate from having reached a peak. So about 3 weeks out, 3 weeks before now, I was in the middle of an all-terrain pop-up workout, and I was like, man, I'm feeling really good, but I also recognize when a peak is coming. So it's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really dial this in. I'm going to peak, and then I'm going to take a rest. And so what happened was like my times are getting faster and faster as far as running, getting stronger and stronger. And it peaked in me at this old abandoned building. You can watch the videos on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok where I'm lifting these cinder blocks with rebar poking out the sides. I do a clean and press or a power clean, and I do a push press. But I didn't share the others, but I did like push-ups, I did duck walks, and then I ran about 6 miles. The thing that's happening with all that though is I'm able to do 6-7 miles plus the full workout from the all-terrain operator system, plus filming and photography, not only for these videos, but also for like my personal stuff, which sometimes ends up translating into the video when I find a cool shot. But able to do all that, get 6 or 7 miles in like an hour and a half. And even like I don't even film all the sets or the reps, because sometimes like I'll start filming and come back to the camera, realize the phone is falling over, and maybe it fell over like as soon as I turn my back. So I got to like run more sets and more reps, or I just find a place that looks more interesting to do the movement, and so I'll redo it then. So I end up running 6-7 miles, um, doing the entire workout, filming, taking photos, often doing more than the videos or the workouts call for. Again, all in an hour and a half, and that's just getting faster. And it accumulated in that the cinder block workout last week. Now with that cinder block workout, what proves to be so strong with me is like the power clean is done with it's a cinder block, but like a very thick one filled with concrete. And it had chunks of the pieces of other cinder blocks that like broke off. And so it's very awkward. And I lifted that a bunch. And then I got this piece that was maybe between 85 and 100 pounds. It was the same big old 3 sections of cinder block with all filled with concrete and rebar about this thick sticking out the sides, probably about that thick sticking out the sides. And it's like a very awkward lift, and it wanted to roll, and it was just, awkward, but I still got it up and I did the workout, and that was my peak. But not only that, just feeling this mental peak as far as like memory, being aware of what's going on around me, creativity, the ability to like navigate, like see and navigate the terrain. Again, when I say terrain, it's not just about like being outside or being on the sidewalk or whatever. It's also like walking around, being around other people, rooms, moving around the grocery store, things like this. But also, and the thing that might sound woo-woo to people is the lucid experience I had the other night. So talking about energy, and this awareness stuff saves energy. You focus on the moment, you get present through these awareness practices, and it does away with all of these worldly things, you might say, all these distractions that we have in our lives, and brings that energy back to your workouts, back to your creativity, back to your mental capacity. So I'm sleeping and I wake up early. But when I wake up, I am fully awake, full of energy, ready to go. But I look out the window and it is still very dark outside. So I'm thinking, okay, it's not time to get up yet. So I'm just going to lay here in quiet. Didn't check my phone. Just going to lay here and be quiet until the sun comes up. Be still, be quiet till the sun comes up. Laying there, being still, being quiet, no sun. Being still, being quiet, no sun. So I get up and I look at the sky again and I'm like, man, it is still very dark out. Like, I don't think um I don't think the sun's going to come out anytime soon. So then I pick up my phone and I look at it and it's 1:20, and I had been laying there minimum an hour, just being still and being quiet. So I'm like, man, well, that's kind of cool that I have all this energy. And I had like it wasn't like anxiety towards the day energy. It was like creativity towards the day energy, and positivity towards the day. But I'm like, it's still very early, and if I don't go back to sleep, I'm just going to burn out for the day. And I have an ability to put myself to sleep. So I started putting myself to sleep. And before I was fully asleep, I started having these, you could call them hallucinations or visualizations, when I would close my eyes. And very vivid scenes. Like, I started building my future house and property type of thing that I like to do. And I could see it and like move things around. But then I did slip into sleep, and I maintained my lucidity during my sleep. But then I remembered some lessons from dreaming. If your subconscious has answers for you and you're trying to control your lucid dream, it doesn't allow for those answers to come. And I've been, praying or trying to manifest some answers towards some things. So just let that all go and started letting these things come. And something very important, I think, came. And I was like, oh, I don't want to lose this moment. And so I manifested a pile of sticky notes on a desk, and I started writing out notes, sticky notes, and posting them in front of my face, like in the air. Um, and again, that all sounds like woo woo or magic, but it's actually very practical. Awareness during dreaming is practical. And what I'm talking about is like, and what this represents is practicing this awareness during the day, during just all day life, in different ways: hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, all these different awarenesses. It brings you more and more awareness in your, and when I say awareness, like you're more acute to the moment, even when you're sleeping, and it can begin to acute or show. You may begin to lucid dream. And I guess that's maybe a bit of a warning to people. You might start, when you're practicing these practices from the all-terrain system, you may begin to have more vivid dreams and more control over your dreams. Um, Now, the more vivid dreams might freak some people out, but just know it's like a natural progression of these awareness practices, and it's perfectly fine. And practicing awareness during your dreams and building things during your dreams and listening, being connected and open to the messages coming through, can benefit you greatly. Some other things to worry about or think about, I guess, is that doing these awareness practices, for instance, the hearing practices, at times, at first, it can be like in the superhero movies, when the superhero first gets their is getting their superpowers, and they're being overstimulated by hearing. And so like the hearing can become too much, especially if you do it in a crowd or in a place that's super busy and noisy. um, it's the same with the sense of smell. Like, smells at first can become very powerful and overwhelming. What else? Oh, the visual stuff. Like, I don't know if you've ever practiced like archery or shooting or anything like this, but when you are in the zone, everything, it looks like the world kind of starts dialing and adjusting, allowing you a clear unobstructed path to that target. And that can happen to you too, and that can be off-putting to some people at first. Um, so but that's why we practice these the awareness, the breathing, the balance, because that'll bring us all back to our center and not allow us to, or I guess prevent us from losing ourselves in these awareness practices, or even the awe. Like, you can get awestruck by what you're noticing, or the sensations that are manifesting in your mind and body. Or another thing is that when you do these awareness practice, you will notice that all this energy is coming to you. And if you don't stay centered and you let yourself be scattered, you can start freaking out a little bit, get triggered, and end up down these roads that got nothing to do with where you're headed, and might freak you out and scare you off from the practices. So when you start feeling that energy building, or when you feel it needs to come out, take a deep breath, center yourself, choose a practice, and dial it back in. So that's where I'm at with my all-terrain system practice right now. This is my all-terrain system journal, which is part of the system. You will get a journal when you opt in to the program. 3 levels: all-terrain system foundation, kind of build you up over a month, give you some simple practices that'll take you into all-terrain system elite, where we dial it up some, take out some of the more simple things and add a couple more complicated things. And then all-terrain operator, which is what you see me doing out in the world, running far, practicing balance in real time while running, doing different Olympic lifts and different movements, and elevating my mind, body, and spirit.